What's going on, boys and girls? What's up, world? Austin John Plays here, and today we're going to be talking about the recipes in Pokémon Quest. By the way, real quick before we go in here, I am doing a giveaway for the custom 8-bit and 16-bit Nintendo Switch controllers from Colorware. This game is out for the Switch as well as mobile in a couple weeks, so I figured now's a great time to drop this. We are doing a giveaway. Be sure to check the link in the description down below on how you can enter for Colorware's exclusive 8-bit and 16-bit controllers for the Nintendo Switch. We're giving away two winners. Nice stuff, nice stuff. Let's go. So Pokémon Quest came out worldwide as a giant surprise release to everybody and stuff. There's a lot of mechanics that I've been figuring out, and I'm gonna make a video on that, but today this video is specifically to go over the recipes and how to cook, what to cook for exactly what results. If we jump into my cookie pots over here, you see that I do have 4 cookie pots. I did buy the $30 DLC for that. There are a total of 18 recipes in the game. As of today, the 31st, this is 2 days after release, only 17 of them have been found. I'm gonna be going over what those recipes are. The first one, which I know for a fact you have, is the Mulligan Stew a la Cube. This one is the go-to recipe. So if you put in a whole bunch of ingredients that don't meet any of the other criteria, you're gonna be getting this. Following this, there are 4 recipes for red, blue, yellow, and gray. These are done by just doing all red items in there. It doesn't matter if they're big items or small items. That would get you a red recipe, 100%. Or it could be that, or literally this. Now, it said that the rarer the ingredients, meaning these bottom 4 over here, the rarer the Pokemon that's going to be found. And I don't know specifically what's considered a rare Pokemon and what's not. But if you have a surplus of these guys, go for it. If not, stick to the low guys. Also depends on what you're trying to do. If you're trying to get new, powerful Pokemon for your team, then you may want to go with, you know, these guys. However, this going by color isn't a very accurate way. So like if you do all gray, that's going to be grayish Pokemon, which includes things like Oddish, who's blue and green. So yeah. From here on out are going to be the types of Pokemon. You have Mouth-watering Dip a la Cube, that's for water Pokemon, the Plain Crepe, which is normal, the Sludge Soup, which is poison, the Mud Pie for ground, Veggie Smoothie for grass, Honey Nectar for bug, Brain Food for psychic, Stone Soup for rock, Light as Air Casserole for flying, the Hot Pot for fire, What a Risotto for electric. You also have the Get Swole for fighting. And then 18 is the Ambrosia of Legends, which no one has found that yet. Supposedly it's done with 5 of these guys. I don't know what that is. It's not done with the rainbow matter, so don't worry about that. Actually, the rainbow matter, I'm not really too sure how it factors into all that. I know that adds to the rareness factor, but I don't really know. Now, of all of these elemental types, there are a total of 12. However, for the islands that you're going to be going on, there's only 10 specific elements that need that boost. And what I mean by that is, when you go into the expedition screen, each of the islands, as of release, there's only 10 islands. This is my second profile, which didn't uncover the last 4. I just need to take down Alakazam over here. Whenever you go into one, it's going to say a bonus type for flying. This is super important. If you just blow by that as a general statement, you're not going to do well. You're not going to have a great time, promise. Also, something you need to know in this game is you can't really hang on to a team. Great, so here on the expedition screen, I've unlocked the first 10 islands in the game. The first one requires fighting. You really don't need to pay attention to that one because you're going to be going through this with your starter, Rattata, and Pidgey. And by the end of it, you're going to be fine. You don't really need to focus on that bonus. The next area is a bonus for fire and a bonus for grass. Now obviously, if you pick Charmander or Bulbasaur, you're going to have a slightly easier time. Also, helpful piece of advice is when you're going through, now there's 2 unlocked for a reason, so you can do 2-1 and 2-2, and then if you're under-leveled, you jump into 3-1 and 3-2. That way you go back and forth between these 2, and then in the next area between these 3, then the last area between these 4. Getting into your third area, you have Flying, Water, and Bug. Now for these 3, this is a little bit harder. Now for flying, I kept my Pidgey around. I got it to Pidgeotto. I took down the Machamp here. It wasn't that hard. Water, if you have a Squirtle, by now it should be a Wartortle or a Blastoise. You're gonna have no problem with this. The bug one, though, is kind of difficult. Unless you're lucky enough to get a rare chance of getting like a Pinsir or a Scyther, then it's... This one's a challenge, especially with that Alakazam, bro. Especially with that Alakazam. And then moving on to the fourth section, you have Rock and Ground, convenient. And then you also have Psychic and Electric. Now, also, the level that you're required to be for these different areas is vastly different. And after you clear your first area over here, you get access to a better cooking pot. See, it all comes full circle. That's what I'm talking about here. And your most basic level cooking pot requires 3 ingredients, second level requires 10, third level requires 15, and your fourth level, which you get after clearing the first 10 islands, is, I think, gold. I think it's gold. The most important part of this is the more ingredients that you put into the pot, meaning the higher level of pot, the higher the level of Pokemon that you're going to be getting, guaranteed. And that's super important, because by the time you're getting into your last sections, I have a shiny Onix and Rhydon's on top and Psyduck's on top of that. That's funny. Because by the time you're getting to here, where you need high-level rock and ground Pokemon, you need 3 of them on your team. I had a Dugtrio, a Golem, and a Rhydon, and I made it through the ground one no problem. The rock one was a little bit of a challenge. And now I'm getting into the psychic ones, and I have an Alakazam, but I'm gonna need to sub out Rhydon for another psychic type, probably Hypno, as soon as I get one. The reason I'm telling you all those important things is because of all of these, you need to know what you're gonna be cooking for. And when you know what you're gonna be cooking for, that's how you know the ingredients that you're gonna wanna cook and the recipes you're gonna wanna have. But, nevertheless, I'm going to be going through all of them. Also, I'm probably going to make like a little graph on the screen right now of all the different islands and the types of Pokemon that you should have for it. Great. So, I've been doing trial and error for the last 2 days between all of my different profiles, coming up with different recipes that work for exactly what is required here for all the ingredients. Now, instead of me listing them piece by piece, I'm just going to be doing on the screen here what you can do for this recipe. So, when you come to a recipe that you want, you should probably just screenshot it and then just save it on your camera roll on your phone or on your desktop, whatever you want to do. So for the mouth-watering dip a la cube, this requires a lot of soft things and a lot of blue things. So this is essentially bulk berries and tiny mushrooms. The plain crepe a la cube is for normal type Pokemon. This is going to require mostly berries and fossils. Getting onto the sludge soup, this is going to be for your poison types. Don't know why you would want poison types. This is going to be mushrooms and mushrooms, the big ones and the small ones. Mud pie a la cube. This is going to be for ground type Pokemon, very important. You're going to need tiny mushrooms and fossils. The veggie smoothie is for grass types that requires a big root, mushrooms, and acorn. The honey nectar is going to be for bug type Pokemon. It requires honey, obviously, and then also bulk berries. The brain food is going to be for psychic types. That's going to be bluckberries and apricorns. Have I been saying blueberries? I don't know. It's bluck. I'm just going to keep calling them berries. Stone soup is going to be for rock type Pokemon requiring fossils and apricorns. The light as air casserole, that's going to be for your flying types, require fossils, big roots, and an icy stone. It's a weird mix. The hot pot requires 3 tiny mushrooms and 2 bluckberries. The water rot risotto requires tiny mushrooms, honey, and apricorns. And then the last one being the Get Swole syrup, which you'll probably never need, requires the bluckberries, tiny mushrooms, and honey. The only last ingredient, the last one here, is for the Legends dish, which requires all of these guys, and I don't know how to get those guys yet. Not really anyone does, so great. Now, as I mentioned before, you don't need all the different types to spam up on the different Pokemon. So, once you get to your final cooking pot level, getting your final ones is super important. So, I want to talk about Stone Soup for a second, because there are ground type Pokemon without being rock type, but in Gen 1, there are no rock type without being ground type. So, you can kind of cut down this process a little bit. For your last area, getting your Stone Soup, you're going to get your chance to get Rhyhorn, Rhydon, Geodude, Graveler, Golem, and Onyx, as well as the 3 different fossil lines. So the fossil ones don't help, but these 3 definitely do. I'm not crazy about Onyx personally, but Golem is a tank. I love him, and Rhydon just loves dishing out damage. If you go for the ground recipe, Pokemon that you're going to be getting are Sandshrew, Diglett, Geodude, Cubone, and Rhyhorn. So, of the Sandshrew line, the Diglett line, and the Cubone line, those 3 won't help you on the rock trial, only the Geodude and the Rhyhorn. So, there. Also, in case you didn't know this, Pokemon that require trading or stones evolve at level 36. So, for your Geodude, he's going to evolve to Graveler at his regular level, then he evolves to Golem at 36. You'll be fine. As far as the brain food goes, because you're going to need strong psychic types, and I'm in the middle of doing this right now, you're going to get the Abracadabra Alakazam line. You're going to be getting Slowpoke Slowbro, Drowsy Hypno, Executor Execute, and Mr. Mime, and Jinx. Probably not Mew and Mewtwo. So getting those is going to be really helpful once you get to the last area. If by chance you get yourself a Staryu earlier in the game when you're on like the 3rd section, which requires flying, water, and bug, then you're going to be great moving into the last section because Starmie gets that psychic ability on there. And again, level 36 because it requires a water stone. The electric one is super difficult because it's the last one in the game. It requires the highest level of Pokemon. And your only options are Pikachu, Raichu, Magnemite, Magneton, Voltorb, Electrode, Electabuzz, Jolteon. So if you chose Eevee, that might be a good choice going for the Jolteon at level 36. I think Electabuzz would be good. I imagine he would be a little tanky. So would Magneton. I'm still hunting down electric types right now. That's what I'm doing. I'm hunting down electric and psychic types. This has been your unofficial recipe guide for Pokemon Quest. I hope it was helpful. If it was, be sure to drop a like on the video. This is my first video for this game, so if it gets a lot of love, I'm going to be continuing with it. If not, then maybe not. But anyways, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, turn on notifications. Until next time, Austin John out.